None more heavy, that was the triple thrash treat, concluding with the debut from Swedish heavyweight Cemetery. Now that particular track, Where the Rivers of Madness Stream, can be found on 2 albums out now on Black Mark Records. It's one of 8 songs on Cemetery's debut album, An Evil Shade of Grey, as well as appearing on the compilation album Touch of Death, which also features contributions from Necrosanct, who opened the triple thrash treat, and the band under scrutiny next, Bathory. Now, Bathory formed in Stockholm nearly 10 years ago, and to date have released 6 studio albums, their last offering being 91's Twilight of the Gods. 1992 sees them taking stock of their career and releasing a retrospective collection, Jubileum Volume 1, with Part 2 being planned for next year. The CD features 72 minutes of music, including 3 previously unreleased tracks, as well as music from all their former product. The band, led by Quorthon, has proved to be one of death metal's leading influences, despite rarely performing live. It may be somewhat odd for a metal act to be studio-based, but Quorthon puts it down to personnel problems and the difficulty of recreating their elaborate sound accurately. However, he did give us an insight into the past, present and possible future for Bathory.
When we started out, we were quite heavily Motorhead influenced, and you can hear that from the very earliest stuff that we did. And then listening to a certain Newcastle band a couple of years ago, what would that be, 9 years ago, we realized that yes, you can do that. But the other guys in the band were fed up with Saxon and Iron Maiden, and I had a quite difficult time persuading them to actually go faster and to actually sing about this satanic thing. And we did that for 3 records, and then I realized that in my lyrics I was more or less critical to this whole religious stuff than I thought I was, and I realized Sweden had a very interesting mythology in itself, the Viking thing. And you had to do it in the right way, so that people wouldn't believe that you were serious about it, that we do rape and pillage. It was just a story thing, like the satanic thing. We haven't decided on whether we want to make another studio record, because, like I said before, going from Twilight of the Gods to where, you would either have to take it one step further, and then perhaps people wouldn't be able to understand it, and it would just be absolutely nothing. And otherwise you could go back and do what you did 5 years ago, and then you wouldn't progress anyway. Well, you could satisfy yourself musically, or you could satisfy some people and sell a certain amount of records and make sure to make some money. And if that's what you want, and if that's the ambitions you have, that's okay. But we'll do these 2 Jubileum things first. One now and one early next year. And if it turns out to be a success, if we surprise people in a positive way with this unreleased material, which is on these 2 CDs, then perhaps we will dig a little deeper into what we have on tape, and perhaps come up with something next summer. We have used 2 tracks that was recorded on a 4-channel equipment back in July, I believe, '83. and that was never intended to end up on vinyl. The reason why it did was because a lot of fans had written during the years asking for demos, and we said that we never did make any demos, and because obviously we didn't end up in that situation where we had to make demos to get a record deal, because we ended up with 2 tracks on the compilation album as early as in January 1984. And from then on, we made an album, like I said, every 20 months, and we've been picking the fans' favorite track from each and every one of those albums, 3 or 4 from each album, the best ones, and just remastered it and put it out in a sort of a marble package. And hopefully those who bought the records back in 83 and 84 will enjoy it in the same way as they did it back then.
Bathory at last on the Headbangers Ball. Right, we're going to take our final short breather now, but stay tuned for the conclusion of AC/DC Sunday in the form of our AC/DC rockumentary. And then I'll be back a little later on to tell you about all the exciting things coming your way on the Headbangers Ball over the next few weeks. So see you later and enjoy the AC/DC rockumentary next on Headbangers Ball.